What's going on, guys? It's your boy Steve, and welcome to my channel, Fantasy Studs. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who has clicked that subscribe button, showed your boy some love. I made this channel, just directly for fantasy football, football in general, sports in general, huge passion of mine. So it's kind of dope to see a lot of people, following along and sharing the same passion. So welcome aboard to everyone who has already subscribed. Now, let's get into the video. So today we're talking about T.Y Hilton and Stefon Diggs. That's been a well talked about topic. And as some of you guys might already know, I've been doing a lot of comparisons lately. So I figured I would hop in this conversation and kind of voice my opinion. So before I get into my opinion, what I like to do is just kind of read off their stats from the previous years. So let's just take a look at T.Y Hilton first. He played all 16 games. Actually, fun fact about T.Y Hilton, he's only missed one game in his entire career. So that's kind of, he's going, what, 3 years strong, never missing a game right now. So anyway, he had 57 receptions, 966 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. Now, obviously, those are his numbers without Andrew Luck. I mean, we can go back to some years, like actually the year before with Andrew Luck. He had 91 receptions, 1,448 receiving yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. So definitely a bump up in those receiving yards. But to be honest, his numbers didn't take that much of a dent that I thought they would. I mean, I guess they did in receptions and yards, but touchdowns stayed almost about the same, only a 2 touchdown drop. So let's go down to Stefon Diggs. He played 14 games this season, but like I said in a previous video, I don't, give people extra credit. I don't give players extra credit. Like some people like to say, like, oh, well, if he played the same amount of games as, the other player, he might have had the same stats or better. I don't play none of that. If you got injured, you got injured. That's on you. At the end of the day, if you're hurt, you're not doing anything for my fantasy team. You shouldn't get a pass because you're hurt. So with that being said, he played 14 games, 64 receptions, 849 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns. So he had more receptions, less receiving yards, and double the amount of touchdowns, I believe. Yeah, double the amount of touchdowns as T.Y Hilton. All right, so now with the stats out of the way, let's get into my opinion. Both of these players are going in about the middle of the 3rd round. They got ADPs of 30 and 31. T.Y Hilton having ADP of 30. Stefon Diggs of having an ADP of 31. And here's the thing. So T.Y Hilton never really been a touchdown receiver, always been more for the receptions and yards. But honestly, neither was Stefon Diggs. His first 2 years, he only got a combined 7 touchdowns. Last year, he really emerged, scoring 8 touchdowns. But you can't really just look at the past. Now with the Vikings having kind of like, I wouldn't say a brand new offense, but yeah, pretty much a brand new offense with Kirk Cousins on the center. He's more of a stretch the field kind of guy, while Case Keenum was more of like a manage the field kind of guy. So I would expect that Stefon Diggs' role is going to extend a lot more this year. Maybe be the deep ball guy and just rack up a lot more yards. I'm predicting that this year will be his first year having over 1,000 receiving yards, and I think he can honestly hit the 10 touchdown mark if that whole offense stays healthy and if they can really, get on the same page. Because, again, you never know with a new quarterback, new wide receiver. Maybe they don't get on the same page. Maybe Adam Thielen becomes that stretch the floor kind of guy, stretch the field kind of guy. You just don't know until they get on the field and they start playing actual minutes of football. So Andrew Luck and T.Y Hilton actually were featured in one of my other videos, my avoid to draft list. It was more Andrew Luck, but T.Y Hilton was kind of an honorable mention. Now, I'm not saying, and I addressed this in the other video, I'm not saying that I think they're going to do poorly. Just looking at their ADP and looking at what I see people talking about in the Reddit forums and stuff like that and other YouTube channels, people are really putting a lot of faith that Andrew Luck's going to stay healthy. People are putting a lot of faith that Andrew Luck's going to return to that 40 touchdown season. And I'm not saying he's not going to. It's just, why add all of that extra risk when you can just go get somebody else? You know what I mean? Like, why? If you have the option of getting a Phillip Rivers or a Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, why not just get one of them where you know that they're consistent, that they're not coming off a major injury? Well, I guess you can say that, Aaron Rodgers is coming off a similar injury, but there's a lot less risk factored, and also a lot of people are moving up to draft T.Y Hilton because they think that Andrew Luck is going to return back to that mid-season form. Guys, I mean, that shoulder injury, it's not like an ACL tear where I've torn my ACL and it's a serious injury, but once you recover, you can get hit in your leg, and you're not just going to randomly tear your ACL just from getting hit in your leg. But a shoulder injury, as we saw with Aaron Rodgers, is kind of one of those things where like he has screws in his shoulder. All it takes is for him to fall down the wrong way or get hit too hard in his shoulder, and he can re-aggravate that and be out for the rest of the season. So with that being said, why take the extra risk of your wide receiver 2, or I guess could be your wide receiver 1, might lose his starting quarterback when you could just go and get someone like Stefon Diggs, who's on an uptrending offense with a young and ready to go healthy quarterback. So if you guys couldn't really tell by the direction I was taking this video, I would draft Stefon Diggs over T.Y Hilton. Again, I'm not saying T.Y Hilton's going to be a bust. Clearly, he's a very talented guy, and he's put up great seasons before, but that is my answer. I don't want to drag this video on for too much longer. So my answer is Stefon Diggs. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Whether you agree or disagree, I'd like to see your opinions in the comment section. Other than that, if you guys aren't already subscribed, I'd appreciate if you click that subscribe button, show your boy some love, and maybe check out some more videos on my channel.